All right, good morning, everyone. Well, it's actually afternoon. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's 1:01, and I want to give another 30 seconds just for a few more people to join the session, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, while we're waiting, can everyone just give me a thumbs up if you can see this, the PowerPoint? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, well, it is 1:02 and I respect your time. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I want to welcome everyone to our very first CyberSmart 2025 session. This is our first session, and we're so excited to have you here with us today. And this is going to be kicking off our Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So all month long, we're celebrating cybersecurity awareness. Now, by attending today's session, you are actually showing that together, by working together, that we can protect our world one click at a time. Now, before we begin, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping notes. We do have microphones and cameras. We do have them muted. However, we do have the Q&A feature that's in Teams. So if you do have any questions that you want to submit, you can post them there. Now, we're also going to be sharing the slides and the different resources after the session. So you'll be able to reference those. And also any links that we have, we'll post those in the chat. Now, if you are experiencing any technical issues, just drop us a message in the chat, or you can just try rejoining the session. Okay. And then too, for all those who were wondering, yes, we are going to be recording this session. So I have Crystal is going to be helping us make sure that we get that recording out to everyone after the session is over. All right. And then for anybody who is on social media, if you are a social media influencer, you can actually help us spread the word by sharing any takeaways that you've learned in this session on social media. And actually make sure you use the hashtag CyberSmart 2025. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our agenda for today. All right, so for our roadmap today, we're going to start with a quick icebreaker, and then we're going to dive into the history of Cybersecurity Awareness Month and define what cybersecurity actually is, and then explore some of the 4 key behaviors that can help keep us all safe online. And then after that, we're going to have an interactive game. We'll share some resources and then also highlight some upcoming sessions. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and start our icebreaker activity. All right, so hopefully you all have found the chat. All right, if you can find the chat, I would like for you to just type one word that comes to mind when you hear the word cybersecurity. All right, so you don't have to overthink it or anything like that. Just whatever comes to mind when you hear the word cybersecurity. And Crystal, I'm gonna need your help to see what type of responses we're getting.
Okay, perfect. We're seeing things like protecting yourself, hackers, phishing, threats. That's what's in the chat so far.
All right, awesome. All right, well, that gives us a pretty good sense of how everybody is currently thinking about cybersecurity. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is take a quick look at how Cybersecurity Awareness Month started. Now, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, it began in October of 2004, and this was a joint effort between the Department of Homeland Security and the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Now, over the years, it has grown into a global movement and bringing together businesses, schools, nonprofit organizations, and also everyday people just like you and me. Now, the goal has always been very simple. We just wanted to give everyone the tools to stay safe online. Now that we know where that came from, I want to go ahead and start talking about cybersecurity and what it really means. Now, what is cybersecurity? Well, cybersecurity is the protection of systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, attacks, or damage. All right, now why does that matter? Well, because it helps prevent data breaches, financial loss, protects the different critical infrastructure, and it builds trust with customers, partners, and our community. And so now, how do we put cybersecurity into practice in our daily lives? Well, that's where the 4 key behaviors come in, which is what we're going to be talking about right now. All right, so the 4 key behaviors, okay, and as we're going over them, I want you to start thinking about how you incorporate these behaviors into your daily life. And if you don't, this is something that you should consider incorporating, okay? So the first one is updating your software. All right, that's those little reminders that we often get, and sometimes they're just like annoying pop-ups, but those are going to be your best defense against new cyber threats. Okay, next is going to be using strong passwords. Now, some people, when they're thinking of their passwords, we know that you want to try something that's, simple and easy to remember. But what we recommend is using long, unique, and random passwords. Those are going to be like locks for your digital doors. We also recommend using a password manager. All right. And if you're not familiar with what a password manager is, that's something that will help you to remember, especially if you don't, if you can't remember all of those different passwords that you have to log in. A password manager will help you to keep all of your passwords safe. All right. And the next behavior is going to be turning on multi-factor authentication. All right, we often hear that referred to as MFA. All right, and that is going to add a second layer of protection, and that makes it much harder for different hackers to break in. Right. Now, the final behavior that we're going to be discussing is recognizing and reporting scams. Right. So we know that cybersecurity, the criminals, they're very clever. They come up with new tricks every day, it seems like. But we know if we know what the warning signs are, we can help stop them before they succeed. All right. So together, all of these 4 behaviors, they're going to be the foundation of what we call being cyber smart. All right. And so now we're going to take a little bit of a look at each one of these behaviors so we can see how to incorporate those into your daily lives. Okay. All right, so with software updates, okay, software updates are going to be the easiest way to make sure that your devices and your applications are protected from whatever the current threat is. All right, now they only are effective if you install them immediately, if you install them right away. Now, I know sometimes you get those notifications and you're like, I'll do it later, or just remind me later, just give me 20 more minutes. All right, the sooner you install those updates, the more effective it can be in making sure that you're protected. All right, and then also we recommend that you enable automatic updates for your convenience. Now, the updates are going to be your first line of defense. Okay, so just make sure this is just kind of going over what we were talking about. Just check for those notifications on your phone or on your computer. All right, so when you're looking on your phone in the settings, okay, you can check also the browser or your application settings for those notifications. And then you want to check in the upper right corner of the browser that you're working in. That's also going to provide you with some alerts on when there's new available updates. Okay. And if you have any questions about software updates, make sure you post them in the chat. And we'll also, we have a resource available to you too. So I'll make sure to get that resource to you before the end of the session today. We'll post it in the chat. So now let's talk about strong passwords. Okay, can somebody post in the chat what are some of the issues that people have with with creating passwords? Let's see. All right, Crystal, can you tell me
some of the comments in the chat are they forget them?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Have some other folks still typing.
Okay.
It's too long. It's too long and I don't remember it.
Well, those are all valid reasons. I know, again, a lot of times people have a lot of different systems that they log into, and that can be hard to remember. I know for me, on a daily basis, I'm in 10 different systems. So that's like 10 different passwords that you have to remember. So that can make it hard, especially if you have to make a unique password for each one. All right, so I get that that's one of the concerns, but having a strong password, making sure that it's long, that it's random and unique. Oftentimes, if you have at least 16 characters, that can help keep your password strong. But one of the ways that I find that it's helpful is to create what we call a passphrase. All right, so instead of just a password, we have a passphrase that's like 5 to 7 unrelated words, and that's something that you can remember. All right, so that way you're never reusing passwords. All right, so for example, let's say I like to take long walks. Okay, but you can change that passphrase up into something that includes, different characters and some special characters and some numbers and things of that nature. So that way it's more secure, it's a stronger password, but it's something still that you could remember. Okay. All right, but again, also exploring a password manager, that's also something that's going to be helpful as well. All right, and I saw just from most of the people that were registering for the session today that many of you have a Gmail account. And so, and not that we're just recommending password managers, but, Google does have a password. Your Gmail does have like a password manager. So that's something that you can explore. Okay, so but what the password manager is going to do is basically it's going to take all that heavy lifting for you, right? So it's going to store, and it's also going to generate strong passwords too. So that way, if you can't think of a strong password that you want to use, that password manager will help generate strong passwords as well. And it's going to alert you to any duplicates, if there's any duplication. And it'll also even do some autofill login. So that's also that's helpful. Okay.
Hey, Eulana, someone put in the chat that most people refuse to use a password manager because they forget their passwords. Also, they're afraid or lazy, so they rely on the computer-generated passwords. They said this may be an annoyance to many organizations because they force people to change their passwords periodically.
Right. Oh, and that's actually another good point. Now, again, remembering all those different passwords, yes, that can be cumbersome and it might take a lot of work. However, on the personal note, using that password manager can help you with that, right? And sometimes I know that they'll generate some different passwords that you can that are strong passwords, and if you save them, you know what I'm saying, then that'll help you remember. So that is something that you can do with your password manager. However, I do want to caution you for your work, for work passwords and things of that nature. You want to check with your IT department, right, to see what their policies are for using password managers. So while we recommend it, a password manager that is great for your personal life, however, sometimes with your work or different organizations, they may have a different policy towards password managers. So you want to check with them to see what the policy is, so that way you're in compliance. All right, well, thank you. All right, so now let's talk about multi-factor authentication. Okay, so multi-factor authentication, or MFA, that's like adding a deadbolt to your digital door. So if you think about your house and you lock your door every time you leave your house, right, because you want to make sure that all of your belongings are safe, right? So multi-factor authentication, that's just like you're protecting your digital door. Okay, it's going to require a second step, like they may send you a text code, or you may have to use an authenticator app before you let someone in. Okay, now MFA, it may be offered in several different places, but we encourage you to use it wherever it's offered, okay, especially for your email. Okay, for your banking, if you have a bank account and you do online banking and things of that nature, it's good to make sure you turn on your MFA. And then even for your social media accounts, if they offer it, use it for your social media accounts, so that way you can have a strong defense. And then also too, we want to make sure that we're just protecting all of our assets, right? And so that multi-factor authentication will help you to do that. Okay, now there are different types of multi-factor authentication methods, and not all of them are created equal, right? But the strongest and the most secure option is going to be a dedicated authenticator app. For example, so like Microsoft Authenticator. There's even a Google Authenticator as well. All right, so those are some different authentication apps that you can consider using, or that you might have seen. Now, these are going to generate some time-sensitive codes right on your device, and that's going to be it's going to be hard for that to be intercepted. Right. Another strong option is going to be a hardware security key. It's like a small USB or a wireless device that you can plug in or tap when you log in. Some people, I know for certain jobs, they have something that they call like a YubiKey. Okay, that's the security key that we're talking about. And then also too, there's text messages and email codes, and those are still good as well. And it's better than not using MFA at all. So you can choose that. If you don't have the Authenticator app or the security key, you can still have a code sent to your text messages or to your email to help you with MFA. Okay, let's see here. But basically, just having some sort of multi-factor authentication is going to be better than not having any type of protection at all. All right, so another behavior that we wanted to incorporate in today's training is helping you to recognize and report scams. Okay, now we know it's going to be much easier to stop a scam, right, before it happens than to try and get your money back afterwards. All right, so here are a few common scams that we want you to be aware of. And so this first one is called the pig butchering scam. Right now, this is where you have a scammer who pretends to be your online friend, right? They try to earn your trust, and then they trick you into investing in some type of fake money scheme before disappearing with your cash, right? Okay, so that's one scam. Another common one, and I know we have in the audience a few grandparents, right? So this one is where someone is going to pretend to be your grandchild, and we know how you all feel about your grandbabies, right? So somebody is pretending to be your grandchild or even another relative, and they're in trouble. And then they're asking you to send money quickly, right? So that's one you got to pay attention to. And then, of course, we have those romance scams, right? Who doesn't love love? But with this scam, there's like a fake boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're online and they're asking for money for some type of emergency, for travel, or even for investments. Okay? Now, has anybody seen those accidental deposit scams? Okay, it's basically where somebody accidentally sends you money to like your Cash App or your Venmo or even Zelle. Okay, and then they want you to send it back to them. But the thing is that that money isn't real, right? But when you send the money back to them, that money is real. Okay. There's also tech support scams. All right. So here is where you're going to get like a fake call, or you may get a pop-up on your computer saying that there's something wrong with your computer. It's broken, right? They're going to ask if they can take control of your computer, and then they're going to charge you money for fake repairs. Okay, so you want to be careful of that. And then the final scam, well, that we're going to be talking about on this slide is the delivery text scam. Okay, so here, and I know I was getting some of those on my phone. I'm like, I know I didn't order anything from UPS. I promise I didn't. This time I was good. All right, so this is where you have a fake text saying that there's a problem with your package, right? They're going to send you a link. Okay, and that link could steal your personal information or even your banking information, right? But the bottom line here is that if something feels wrong, or if it feels off, or even too good to be true, you want to make sure that you don't click, you don't pay, all right, and don't share your information. Okay. Now, because all the different scams, they look different, but there are different red flags, all right, to help you avoid them. All right, so one is just make sure that you don't reply to any strange text. Okay, if you don't know who that number is, you don't have to reply back to them. There's no rule that says that you have to reply back to every single message that you receive, right? But even if they say it's the wrong number, oh, I didn't mean to text you, it's okay. You don't have to reply back to that message, right? Also, too, you want to make sure with these text messages, if you receive something that's strange, make sure you take a screenshot for evidence. Okay, so that screenshot could help, once you're reporting that scam. All right, but just make sure you have some evidence. Also, too, because a lot of times, especially with the use of AI and things of that nature, you want to establish what we call a safe word, okay, with your family for emergencies, something that only you and your loved ones know. So then that way, if someone calls and it sounds like it could be one of your family members, but you're not quite sure, at least you all have established that safe word to help basically authenticate who that person is. Okay. Also, never pay in gift cards or crypto or even wire transfers. If somebody is asking for that type of payment, that's going to be a big red flag. All right, so that's something you want to pay attention to. And then social media, that is such a big part of our lives, right? So be careful of the information that you're sharing on social media and your dating apps, because these scammers, what they do is they collect all of that information, that free information that you're sharing online, and they pretend to be real people and use that information against you. Okay, so if you ever find yourself caught up in a scam, just make sure you stop sending the money. If you were sending money, stop sending money. All right, and then cut contact immediately. Save all of those messages and just take screenshots. And then what you're going to do is report it to, for one, your bank. So whatever your financial banking institution is, also to ic3.gov. All right, and also the local police. All right, so that's going to be who you're going to be reporting that to. Now,
Hey,
there's one.
Eulana, there's a comment in the chat about, I'm sorry, there was a comment in the chat that I missed about multi-factor. It's, a person said, and using multi-factor authentication of password managers in time, there seemed to be what was they call bad actors So you need to be learning how to hack those. And you have to create firewalls to protect yourself and ensure your passwords are safe. She wants to know, how would you address someone's apprehensions about using a password manager?
Oh, well, certainly. Well, so, okay, with using a password manager, again, nothing is going to be ever 100% safe. Okay, the goal is to be safer without using a password manager and using a, just continuing to use the same type of password or reusing your password. You're just exposing yourself to more risk, right? So it actually, it's riskier to not use your password manager than it is to use one, especially if you're one to not have, it takes a while to like try to remember all of your different passwords, right? It's just there to help protect you. But again, remembering, it is true that nothing is 100% proof. Okay, so, but you're actually taking steps to be more safe by using a password manager. Okay. All right. I hope that was helpful. Were there any other questions, Crystal?
Right now, there's they gave you the thumbs up on that answer, and there are no other questions in the chat.
All right, awesome. Well, there was one scam that we hadn't talked about just yet, and that's one that I think is um, one of our biggest threats, and that's recognizing phishing, right? So you might be saying, okay, well, what is phishing? Some people already know what it is, but phishing is basically a form of social engineering. It uses email or even malicious websites to solicit information from you, or to get you to download malicious software onto your computer by posing as something that's trustworthy, something that you recognize. Right. There are different types of phishing. You have your spear phishing, and that's where you have like a specific individual where you're targeting, and they have like key information about that person. Then there's also something called whaling, and that's where you're being targeted as a high profile individual to steal sensitive information. All right, phishing is going to be that voice communication. Okay, it could be engaging in a conversation just to kind of build trust to get information, but they're fishing for information from you, right? And then smishing, that's going to be those text messages that you receive, all right, to basically get you to click on a link or download files or even just to begin a conversation, right? So those are the different types of phishing. However, all right. Most phishing messages are going to have some type of urgent or scary language. It might even have a strange email address, right? It can have an unexpected attachment or a request for personal information. All right. And so you got to be careful too, because some of them are using AI, so they're well written. All right. So some of those things that, maybe in the past might have been key mistakes that you would be like, okay, hold on a second, something's not right here. With AI, those are, what I'm saying, becoming better. So you have to stay sharp and make sure you double check before you click on anything. But you can tell if a message, when you're looking at your emails or anything like that, you want to check the tone. All right. Does it sound like they're trying to hurry up and make you scared or make you act? Is this urgent? All right. If they want you to click immediately, you know what I'm saying, or your account will be closed, that's using that fear tactic to help you to, provide that information. Also, you want to check the sender's email address. If it doesn't match the company, that it's coming from, that's going to be a red flag. So as an example, let's say you have Amazon.com, but then you'll see Amazon. However, that O is now the number 0. All right. So it's kind of tricky, but you have to pay attention to that type of thing. All right. Also, unexpected communications like emails or attachments that you weren't expecting. And then also too, there might be a legitimate organization and that you work with or that you've used in the past, but they don't necessarily ask for personal information through email or an unexpected call. All right. So if they're asking for personal information, that should, make your spidey senses go a little bit. Okay, if you see any misspelled words or any bad grammar, or any odd URLs, all right, that's going to, be those red flags for you. Okay.
Hey, Eulana, before you go on, there was a question in the chat. How do you suggest we address our youth in a way to keep them safe on social media, and especially an app like Cash App, where our children are where our children are trusting the people they're interacting with, and getting them to send them money. Can I take a moment with the Cash App one? And I can chime on that one. With my son's Cash App, it is connected to mine. So every time he sends or receives money, it sends me a notification, and I'm able to see what's going on. When it comes to apps that your children are using on the internet, especially on their phones, there is an app for Google phones called Family. It's a family app where you can monitor their activity as well as control and limit their time on the internet. So this way, you can still be watching what they're doing and see where they're spending their most time at. And those are two things that I wanted to take a quick moment to mention. But Eulana, go ahead and ask and answer that question for us, please.
Oh no, that's honestly, that was a great way, because again, with our teens, they're so independent and they're always on different apps. And again, I want to take a quick moment here to highlight too one of our upcoming sessions. So our next session is going to be on October 8th, and we're going to be actually talking about some of the different threats that are facing our teens. We have some speakers from Orange County Public Schools that are going to be here, and we have some other subject matter experts that are going to be coming to talk just about that as well. But again, it's going to be really a family. It's going to take a family to come together and help that our teens to understand that, you have to be careful who you're talking with, making sure that you're not providing any sensitive information when you're on these apps. And then also too, which is another thing that we'll talk about in one of our other sessions, is that also understanding what type of information is being collected from these different apps. When you're using the different applications and the different software, how are these companies using your information? So it's going to be also understanding when you're accepting these terms and conditions, when you're downloading these apps to use them, understand what information that they're going to be taking and how they're going to be using it. All right. So I would encourage you, I'm not sure who asked that question, to come check us out on our October 8th session, and we'll get more in depth into that.
I did add the link to the chat for you. So those that have not registered, because each session is independent, please go ahead and click the link and register for that one. It's in the chat.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Crystal. All right, so now I think this is an awesome time to kind of get a little bit more interactive. Okay, so we actually have a CyberSmart 2025 interactive game. All right, so I'm not sure how everybody is logged on, but if you're able to scan the QR code, or if you go to crowd.live on your computer, all right, we actually have an interactive game that we're going to be playing. So I want to give everybody a few moments and just let us know in the chat if you're having trouble accessing it. Here, I'm gonna put this on the screen. Let's see here. All right, so hopefully everybody can see that. Crystal, are we having anybody who's struggling in the chat? Is anybody?
So far, I don't see anyone having any issues.
Right.
If you are having a challenge, please feel free to reach out to me.
All right, I see we have a few players in. All right, I'll give everybody a few more minutes to try to log into the session.
The way you're going to access the game is going to be, number one, scan the code with your phone, scan the QR code on the screen with your phone, and it should automatically let you in. But if you are using or you can type in the URL crowd.live, and then you're going to enter the code N as in Nancy, T the number 2, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, and J as in Jack.
All right. I'll give it like another 30 seconds to allow more people. Oh yeah, I see some more people joining now.
Perfect. Glad you're able to join the game.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, this game here is just going to kind of test some of the knowledge or some of the things that you've learned in this session. So I'm excited. The person who responds the quickest is going to get the most points. So we'll be able to see at the end of this game who is on our leaderboard. So let's go ahead and get started. And let me make sure I changed the timing. I believe I did. Hold on, we're going to, oh, we got a few more people. Okay, hold on, so I'll give it a few more seconds before we start. I see we have a few more people joining. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. It looks like we have about 9 people. We have one more joining so we can have 10. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see here. You should be able. All right.
Okay, it shows the game is beginning and it's doing the countdown clock.
All right. So the first question is coming up. And it's, what is an example of a strong password? All right, so you want to try and answer that question. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I think we got a few more. Okay, so we got everybody to respond. All right, so we got, let's see. We got 5 answers received. All right, so this first question here, the example of a strong password is going to be, okay, it's going to be D. And we have a lot of, actually most of our people who responded to this question here. All right, as you can see, it's like password, but you can see here where you have the P and then you have the @ symbol, which is like that special character. All right, you have numbers here, and then you have the word, and then you replace the 0, or excuse me, the O with a 0. All right. All right. So let's move on to this next question. All right, why is it recommended to use a password manager? Oh man, okay, we got a lot of votes on here, and this was unanimous. All right, and so the correct answer for that one is C, to securely store and generate passwords. All right, awesome. All right, the next question is, what does MFA stand for? Okay, giving a few more seconds. All right. All right. And we got everybody selected C, multi-factor authentication. So there we go. So that way you can see your results. All right. Awesome. All right. So which activity is described as phishing? 8 more seconds. 4 seconds. All right. Okay, so we just got our last vote, just a baseball slid in there, and it looks like All right. So answer choice C, luring passwords using fake websites. All right. We got a few more questions. Let's see. What kind of action helps prevent phishing? All right. All right. I think all the votes are in. All right. And so if you selected answer choice A, you are correct. All right. So checking identical URLs closely. You want to make sure that there's no deviations and that there's nothing that looks suspicious about your URL. All right. Awesome. All right. Which characteristic improves a password strength? All right. All right. Looks like we have all of our votes in. All right. And the answer is D. Sorry, if your password has numbers, if it has symbols, and it has a mixed case letters, that's going to make sure that you have a strong password. All right, let's check on this next question. Oh, there we go. Now, why should you not reuse passwords across multiple sites? Those votes are coming in quick. All right. I think we have all of our votes in. Let's give it more time. All right. So let's go ahead and show the leaderboard. All right. All right. So why should you not reuse passwords across multiple sites? That's because that's going to compromise your password. Okay. And especially risking multiple accounts. All right. So if your password is compromised, then now you've, basically compromised most of your other accounts. And we don't want that. We don't want to lose data or anything like that. Okay. All right. Let's move on to this. We got a few more questions. Which is a benefit of activating MFA on your account? We got 6 seconds here. All right. And you guys were paying attention. That's what I'm talking about. All right. All right. Having MFA on your account is going to provide you with an extra layer of security. Okay. Again, we know not everything is going to be 100% secure, but at least you have some protection. All right. And this is going to be our last question. What can a password manager automate? Yeah, this one might be a little bit tricky. Let's see. All right. All right. I believe all of our votes are in. And let's go ahead and show this leaderboard. Let's see. All right. So the correct answer is going to be C. Right? Password managers, they're going to be helpful. Not only do they help with generating passwords, but they can also help fill in your login details, but that's in a secure manner. All right. So let's see here. The majority of you got that one right. All right. And so that concludes our game for today for our first CyberSmart 2025. All right. So I hope you guys had a good time learning some of this information. And it seems like from all of your answers that you retained a lot of this information. So I want to go back to our PowerPoint because we have some other information. While I'm pulling that up, I just want to check and make sure, does anybody have any questions while we're pulling up the next part of that
Oh,
paragraph?
Eulana, the question was who won? Who got the most questions answered
Ooh,
correctly?
okay, hold on. Let me pull up my leaderboard. Let's see. Let me see here. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, finish show rankings leaderboard. All right, let's see if that's going to display. All right, so hold on. I'm trying to update it. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, so hold on. It's going to show now. Who are the winners? Let's see. I wish I had a drum roll. Ah, wait, is that Seth? Excitement. Hey, Mike. All right, you got second place. All right, and I'm not sure who this was. I'm not sure who is that one, but who got the first? Listen, put your hand in the chat, but raise your hand in the chat. Crystal, who had N2ASJ?
Okay, I'm not sure who. Oh, that was I think that was the initial VG. So I think that's Victor.
All right, well, congratulations. You answered 7 out of 9 correct. But let's see, it's answered 7 out of 9 correctly. You got 429 points. Now, remember, the points are earned on how quickly you answer the questions. All right. So, all right, great job, everyone, for participating. This was fun. I'm excited. Seth, I'm screaming over here. I'm so glad to see that you're inside the game or in our session today. Let's see here. Okay, so hopefully you all can see my presentation again. All right, so I have some upcoming announcements that I want to share with you. All right, so I know we have a few more minutes and we're gonna make sure we have some time.
I'm sorry, we got a little competition going on in the chat. Somebody letting them know that they beat them. That got a little competition going on in the chat. That's funny, but thank you all for participating.
Well, if you want another opportunity at playing the game, make sure you come out to our next session. We'll have another game ready for everybody. So make sure that you are tuned in for October 8th. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about this one, but this one I'm so excited about. All right, I am excited to share that I will be appearing on the Cassandra Show. All right, so for those who don't know who Cassandra is, Cassandra Lewis, she is an award-winning singer, she's an entertainer, and she's also a television host. And she's going to be bringing inspiring conversations. She talks with leaders and artists and change makers to audiences across the country. So if you are available to watch, it's going to be on October 3rd. All right, it's going to be live at 7 p.m. And it airs nationwide on Afro TV and Comcast Xfinity Channel 1623. And it's also available streaming on Now. All right. And so I'm going to be talking to her about this CyberSmart 2025 conference and our upcoming series to help our communities, our schools, and small businesses to stay safe online. And I'd love for you to be able to tune in and be a part of that. That would just be amazing. All right. Now, again, speaking of our upcoming sessions, right? We have some more sessions throughout the entire month of October. Every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we are going to be hosting a different topic, a different audience. All right. And so I'm pretty sure that the information that we're going to be given is going to be good for everybody. Our next session is going to be cybersecurity and education. And we have a ton of speakers on our panel that's going to be coming and providing you with a lot of information. So I think somebody had some questions about their teens and things like that. So if you have, people who are interested in learning about cybersecurity, or you might be interested in becoming or like career changing, you want to enter into that cybersecurity field, you might want to attend this session. All right, this is going to be for you. We have people here, subject matter experts, that's going to be able to help you with understanding what's happening in cybersecurity education wise. All right. And I believe we have one of our speakers in the chat too, not to put you on blast, but if you're here and you're going to be speaking on next week, just say hi to the audience so that way they know who you are. All right. And then we also have October 15th, we have our small business spotlight. All right. So if you have a small business or you know someone with a small business, you're going to want to invite them to come to this session. We are going to be talking with our subject matter experts. We have people with a federal experience that we're going to be providing a lot of different resources. We have other small businesses that are going to be coming and giving us a ton of jewels and information that you can take and implement in your own small business. All right. So make sure, go tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and tell some more friends, all right, to come in on October 15th. All right, and then we have on October 22nd, protecting our seniors online. All right, we know our seniors, those are our family members, our loved ones, and we want to make sure that our elderly or our people that are just a little bit older and not tech savvy, that they're protected as well. All right, so your grandparents and your elders, have them come on and join this session. This is going to be a great session for them. And then our last and final session, our finale, is going to be faith and cyber. Okay, here we are catering to our faith-based organizations, where we're going to be providing cybersecurity tips and tricks to make sure that our faith-based organizations are secure. All right, we want to make sure that the members are secure, and that even that the churches and our organizations, that they have the tools that they need to make sure that their members are safe and that the organization is safe as well. Okay, so if you have not registered, you can register here on the website. I have it listed here on the site. Make sure you go in and sign up for those sessions. All right, and there's a few more things, and I know we are running out of time, and I want to make sure I give some more time for some questions. But we are looking for CyberSmart 2025 ambassadors. All right, we need your help to spread the word. Okay, so the information that we're going to be providing to our community members is only helpful if they know about it, right? So we're looking for people, if you want to be a CyberSmart ambassador, and all that means is that you're taking CyberSmart and you're promoting it on your social media sites, or you're telling a friend about it, helping people to, sign up. Let us know if you're interested in that type of thing. You can sign up here. There's a link for that. We'll post that in the chat. For an ambassador. All right, and then two, I know I didn't use it this time around, but we also have a CyberSmart 2025 playlist on Spotify. And so if you know of any independent artists who have clean tracks that would like to be played during the event, just to kind of, have some transition music and things like that, let us know. We'll also include them on our Spotify playlist. All right, so I want to take a moment, because we have a few minutes left, and to see if there are any other questions.
At the moment, there are no questions in the chat. However, I did post the links to all of the upcoming sessions in the chat, as well as posted a link to the CyberSmart website.
All right, that is awesome. All right, well, if there are no questions, I want to, first of all, I want to thank you all for joining us today. It really means a lot for your support to come and to learn more about cybersecurity. I also want to send a special shout out to Crystal. Crystal, you're going to be learning more about Crystal too, so make sure you come to these upcoming sessions and get you a crystal, okay? But Crystal, thank you so much for all of your help and support in helping me to pull this together. And also, again, if you have any questions or you're interested in learning more about Skill Builderz, I am the owner of Skill Builderz LLC. My contact information is here on the slide. And I want to thank you all so much for joining us today.